Hello everyone, Twana Michelle here, Narcissistic Abuse and Recovery Coach. And today I am going to talk to you guys about how to get over any shame or guilt that you may have felt or still be feeling as a result of choosing a narcissist, staying in the relationship with a narcissist. And this by any means does not mean that it is your fault that you were with this person and you chose this person and you stay with them as long as you did. But we all know that sometimes we feel what we feel as a result of thoughts that we may have, beliefs that we may have that may be distorted, may be a little flawed, may not necessarily be reality based. For example, we may tell ourselves things like, I should have known better. I should have left sooner. I should not have allowed myself to be victimized. I should have seen the flags, the red flags, and I should have done something about it. There are reasons you didn't, and that's not necessarily what this video is about, but hindsight is 2020, okay? We all know that for many reasons, we sometimes choose partners that are unhealthy for us, and we do choose them. Sometimes, yeah, we are snowed by these people. They are manipulative, but we also sometimes stay in denial longer than maybe we would want to, and there are reasons for that. Again, I'm not going to get into that, but I will link a video below just to help you understand why, how you ended up being in a relationship with that person, why they chose you, how you chose them. But anyway, I'm going to give you some tips on how you can let go of any shame or guilt that you may be feeling as a result of being in the relationship with this narcissist. It may have really affected your self-esteem, your self-confidence, and you may really be beating yourself up about it. And you don't have to. It's okay that you do, and I'll tell you why. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to let go of those feelings of shame and guilt. The first thing you want to do is acknowledge what you feel. Name it. It is absolutely okay. We like to try and resist our feelings, deny what we feel, suppress them because we don't want to feel that in hopes that it will go away. It's not going anywhere. And it's okay. It makes sense. It makes sense that we get out of these relationships with these people and we're like, oh my goodness, what was I thinking? What was going on? I feel horrible about myself. I have so much shame as a result of being there and staying there. I have so much guilt that I didn't leave. So it is okay to feel what you feel. I'm not saying that the thoughts that you have that led to these feelings are factual, but you feel what you feel. And so the best way to deal with any unpleasant or difficult feelings is to acknowledge, this is what I feel. Acknowledge it, honor it, call it what it is, name it. I'm feeling some shame about having been in this relationship with this person who I allowed to abuse me. I'm feeling some guilt about, whatever I think my role was in this relationship, choosing this person, being with them. I'm feeling that. And the next thing you want to do to try to deal with this shame and guilt is normalize it. Know that it is 100% okay and even normal to have those types of feelings. When you feel like you've made any type of mistakes that significantly affects your life, it's okay. People feel guilt, they feel shame. Doesn't mean you have to feel it, doesn't mean you can't do anything about it. All feelings are normal, including guilt and shame, and it is okay to feel that. So call it what it is and remind yourself that, okay, it's normal to feel this. It makes sense that I feel this guilt and this shame given everything that I went through with this person and how they tore down my sense of self and my self-confidence and my self-esteem, and I'm internalizing and I'm blaming myself for everything or a lot of what went down. So it is normal that as a result of that, I would feel some shame and some guilt. And the next thing you want to do after you name what you feel and you normalize it, you want to have some self-compassion. You want to practice self-compassion. Have empathy for yourself. Do something kind for yourself. Soothe yourself. It's okay to feel sorry, not pity, but sorry for yourself. I'm sorry that I was in that relationship with that person who really hurt me, and I'm feeling this shame and guilt. What can I do to take care of myself so that I can feel better? That's how you practice self-compassion. So normally, or naturally, I'd say, when we feel shame and guilt and other types of emotions that make us want to beat ourselves up, that's what we do. We put ourselves down, we criticize ourselves. We don't want to do that. We want to have and practice self-compassion. Self-compassion is the opposite of self-criticism. Instead of saying things like, I'm so stupid, I never should have been with that person, I should have known better, I don't deserve any happiness, I don't deserve anything good, I'm just going to stay in bed and not do anything. No, we're going to talk positively and compassionately to ourselves and say, I was actually a victim of abuse. I was actually manipulated by this person. I feel sorry. I feel sad that I had to experience that. I deserve better than that. What can I do to show myself love and show myself kindness? That's how you practice self-compassion. Also working on self-forgiveness. If you have any shame or guilt about what you think your role was in this relationship, learn to forgive yourself, okay? And that brings me to the next tip. How you let go of shame and guilt from being with a narcissist or any type of abusive person is acknowledging that it's not your fault. It is never your fault when you have been abused by someone. Do we play a role in all of our relationships? Absolutely, 100% we do play a role, okay? We are not just helpless, passive victims. We are victims of abuse, but we play a role in our relationships. So we're not helpless and passive in terms of choosing our partners. We're not helpless and passive in terms of accepting whatever comes our way. There are reasons we may choose to not see something. There are reasons we may rather be in denial about something, but we are not helpless victims. We may have felt like it, but the reality is, relationships are actually 50-50. Everyone plays a role in the relationship. But abuse, however, is 100% the responsibility of the abuser. So there's nothing that you can do or have done that caused this narcissist to hurt you. This narcissist was gonna do it anyway because that's who they are. So what our role was, we do choose these partners. We don't always see who they are. We sometimes choose not to see. We're sometimes in denial. We sometimes do ignore red flags, but we're also experiencing cognitive dissonance and trauma bonding, and we have our own maybe codependency issues, or lots of things that could be reasons that we chose this person. It's not about fault. It is not your fault. Abuse is never your fault. You are 100% the recipient, which makes you the victim, which makes the abuser 100% responsible for their behavior. So it's not your fault. Remember that, remind yourself of that. Tell yourself that when you need to. We need to challenge those faulty beliefs that we have about blaming ourselves for what happened to us in these relationships. Not your fault at all. And the next tip I have for you to let go of shame and guilt, you have to really do some grief work. It's okay to feel sad for yourself. Again, this is a part of self-compassion. Grieve for yourself, okay? You experience something very traumatic. You experience a loss, not only a loss of a relationship, because even though this relationship was not ideal, was not healthy, perhaps abusive if you were with a narcissist, but at the same time, you lost a sense of yourself. You lost who you were in the process of being victimized and hurt by this person. So you are grieving for you, or you need to grieve for you. And that's okay. Feel sad for yourself when you need to. Cry for yourself when you need to. Go through the whole grief process, the whole grief cycle, so that you can feel what you need to feel and you can allow yourself to move through that. There is a clear before and after when we are with these abusers, these narcissists. Our life before versus our life after it's not going to look the same or feel the same. So we are grieving for our former selves. We are grieving for our childhood selves, our inner child who comes to the surface during this traumatic interpersonal experience with these abusers. Grieve for yourself, feel for yourself. It is okay to do that. It is healthy to do that. So that's one of the ways that you get past this shame and guilt. And then at the end of the grieving process, which is very important, you get to a place of acceptance, right? You accept that it is what it is, okay? Whatever my role was, me choosing this person, me not being able to see the red flags, this person being a narcissist, having abused me, it happened. I accept it. Now, again, acceptance does not equal approval. I don't like it. I didn't cause it. I definitely don't want it to happen again. But at the same time, I accept that this is what happened. This is where I am in my life. I don't have to feel bad about it. I don't have to beat myself up about it. It is what it is. Radical acceptance of the situation. And once you can accept that this has happened, you have grieved for yourself, you've been showing yourself self-compassion, you acknowledge what you feel, you normalize it, there is something very powerful and life-changing on the other side of this. And it's called self-transformation, self-growth. You get past the guilt and the shame by doing all of the things that I mentioned and continuing to do the work on yourself, continuing with the transformation. Healing from narcissistic abuse can be a very positive, profound, transformative process, because we kind of lost ourselves during this relationship. We were completely broken down by these people. And not only are we building ourselves back up so that we can heal from that abuse, but we are also becoming someone new. We are also becoming someone who has done a lot of work, a lot of inner work on ourselves. We are someone who has gone back to the root, the core wound. When you ask the questions and do the work, you discover that, okay, me choosing the narcissist did not just start with the narcissist. What was going on in my life? What has been my pattern of relationships? Where did this all come from? So we start peeling the layers and you get to the root. And when you get to the root, you can do some real transformative healing work so that you create new, safe, and healthy patterns for yourself and for your life and for your relationships. And so we grow from all of this. We don't become the person we were before. We become someone even better. Someone who is on a completely different level of self-awareness, of self-love, of self-growth. And we are able to share that with others. So if you have been struggling with guilt and shame about being in a relationship with a narcissist and choosing them and staying in that relationship and all of that, I hope that you will gain some insight from this video and practice using some of the tips that I mentioned, because it can be very effective and very helpful. So that's all I have. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. It really does help my channel. Also, if you have any comments or questions related to this topic or any topic that you would like to hear me talk about, leave that in the comment section down below. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting on? I'd love to have you. And thank you so much for watching. You guys are incredibly supportive. And I think that's it. Until next time, take care. Bye.